Welcome back, everyone. We're back again doing another kind of D&D custom thing. I'm going to be throwing this in the anime D&D playlist, so it might be a bit confusing why it's in there and not in like a normal D&D thing. But we seem to get views from there, so I'm just going to throw it in and add it onto it. I might change it up to like D&D and Homebrew stuff, I don't know. But whatever, let's get into it. I've created a College of Undeath for the bards. I know there's a lot of stuff online that people create their own homebrew stuff. I don't think there's anything official on Unearthed Arcana. As far as I'm aware, I didn't see anything. But yeah, I just made this little class, or not class, archetype for bard. I've always just liked the idea of like having a bard be a necromancer. They just seem kind of like the perfect, like I can't remember the name of the song. Was it Skeleton Dance or something, or Zombie Dance? And it's just a person singing and skeletons and zombies or whatever just dancing about, and that just always seems like the perfect kind of necromancer. And they kind of have like the perfect stats for it. Just like, it's like, are you a necromancer? You're going along with all these dead people, and they're like, oh no, they're stinky, they haven't showered. Just rolling your persuasion and deception checks and just getting by or getting away with absolute murder. Which just makes sense because bards tend to have that high dex, or not dex, high charisma, because that's their main stat. And it'd just be interesting how they do it. And like, you could maybe do something with a violin that's really soppy and sad, and they're just raising people from dead or creating zombies and undead and everything. Basically, I just did the simple thing that they have in the book, where like basically breaks off what the bard colleges are. So the way the bard is gregarious, bards seek each other out to swap songs and stories, boast of their accomplishments, and share their knowledge. Bards form loose associations, which they call colleges, to facilitate their gatherings and preserve their traditions. So just get that in there. I just like having that kind of, when we're doing an archetype, just throw it in and it's there. So we're kind of just following. You could staple this into your PHP if you wanted to, and then you could just add it on. Maybe not, because it could probably screw up your PHP, so maybe not, I don't know. But the College of Undeath. Bards of the College of Undeath explore the cosmic forces of life, death, and undeath. As you focus your studies, you learn to use the power of your song to raise people and creatures from the dead and command them to do your bidding, which seems kind of cool. Most people see bards that are of the College of Undeath as menacing or villainous due to their close association with death. Most college members have a dark sense of humor and prefer the company of dead to that of the living. They usually use their powers for evil, but there are always some exceptions. And then the features we have for 3rd, 6th, and 14th level is bonus proficiencies, Necromancy Adept, Harming Words, and at 6th level we have Presence of Undeath, and at 14th, Flourish of Undeath. So let's get into bonus proficiencies. When you join the College of Undeath at 3rd level, you gain proficiency with Arcana and Deception. It makes sense to have Arcana because you're going to be raising the dead, and it's just very magical in essence, and kind of like studying that kind of taboo magic, but you still have to kind of know that magic. So that's why I kind of thought Arcana would be a good skill. And then Deception, because once again you're going to be you're just going to be naturally trying to lie and say like you're not a necromancer trying to get away with bloody murder. Actually, you could be trying to get away with murder as well, but that's another thing entirely. But if you have proficiency already with one of them, your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make with that uses either of those skills. So essentially it's like expertise without saying expertise. So if you're going to go for a bard, and I think you get expertise at 3rd level, might be 2nd, I can't remember off the top of my head, but so you could decide, oh, I'm going to go expertise with persuasion, and then you could get proficiency with this and then put double your proficiency with that to get expertise. So it'd be kind of a way to break the game a bit, but like you'd be really difficult to kind of see through and just have a silver tongue and no one be able to like speak against you or say anything otherwise. So it'd be interesting for a bard who's like that kind of powerful with their words. Then we have Necromancy Adept. Your focus of the dreadful and morose gives you access to dark magics beyond the scope of traditional bardic spellcasting. When you choose this bardic college at 3rd level, you add all necromancy spells to the bard spell list for the purpose of selecting the spells known. For you, these spells are considered bard spells if you select them. Just so like basically you can select all those spells you want, because there's a good few, and I was thinking of limiting to about 5 or 6 spells, but it seems kind of dumb. It's like you might as well like dip into wizard then to get your spells, or maybe like be a main wizard or start off as a main bard and then get your 3rd level proficiencies and then go straight into a wizard. But getting this, you're getting all the spells that are available to you, but you can only get them when you reach those levels, so it's not too broken. At least you can kind of pick them up and just kind of use them. So I thought it was probably the best way, and it seems kind of unfair that only wizards and sorcerers can really get them unless you're given to them otherwise, like through this situation, and it seems a little more fair. And then we have harming words. At 3rd level, you learn how to harm your foes using the power of your voice. As a bonus action, you can expend one of your uses of the Bardic Inspiration, rolling a Bardic Inspiration die to deal damage to a creature. You deal necrotic damage equal to your Bardic Inspiration die plus your Charisma modifier. The creature is immune if it can't hear you or if it's immune to being charmed. So, kind of like cutting words. So, like cutting words, it stops the attack, but this one, you can deal damage to him. So you deal necrotic damage. So it's kind of like Vicious Mockery, but just a little bit stronger. But at least you have a limitation on these. You can't, like, I believe Vicious Mockery is a cantrip, so you could continuously use it forever and ever and ever unless you decide to take it at a higher spell slot. But with this, you're going to have, I can't remember how many Bardic Inspiration points you have at level 3, but you have a set amount that you can only use it, so it's not too broken. And if you decide if you want to use it for something else, you might want to save them, but it's not too bad. Then at 6th level, you get the Presence of Undeath. You learn how to perform music or oration that fills your enemies with dread or sadness, breaking their spirits. As an action, you can spend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration and roll an inspiration die. Choose a creature that you can see within 60 feet of you that can hear your voice as the target of your dreadful words. The target is dispirited and can't take bonus actions or reactions and suffers a penalty on its next attack. Attack roll equal to number rolled on your inspiration die until the end of its next turn. Creatures who can't hear you or are immune to being charmed are immune to this effect. So it's kind of handy. So basically, it's kind of like slow. I think it's slow. Where slow, you only move a certain amount of speed, and you could either take an action or a reaction. But in this case, they can't take bonus actions or reactions, so kind of like slow in that regard. But then their attacks have a disadvantage, well, not disadvantage, but they have a negative check to them. So more than likely it's probably going to be an average about 6, depending on your die at 6th level anyways. That's probably about the average for it. So taking 6 off the creature is kind of handy, and you can use it as an action. So it's not a bonus action like most Bardic Inspiration, so you kind of got to use it. And but it's cool. And it's a cool one. And this is this picture is, I believe it's the one with the skeleton dance or whatever it's called. I can't remember the top of my head. I just saw it and I was like, that's the perfect College of Undeath bard. But at 14th level, you get the Flourish of Undeath. At 14th level, you learn the spell Circle of Death, which you can cast without the material components nor the cost of a spell slot. So this is where this will be really handy. Basically, you get this spell and you don't need the components for it. I believe at 14th level, you'll probably already have it, but you get an extra slot for it, so you can essentially, it'll be a free use for that spell, and it's quite potent. You can use this spell once per day. You can use this spell again when you finish a long rest, and when you reach level 20, you can cast the spell at 9th level without expending a spell slot when using this feature. So once again, really powerful, and you can use it without using a spell slot, so that'd be really handy, especially when you want to conserve your level 9 spells in case you want to save it for a wish or something, or clone, or any of those kind of spells. So you gotta be careful what you want to do. But when you have a spell like this where it's essentially free and creatures have to make a dexterity saving throw, so essentially you're going to hit them regardless, as long as it's not like a rogue or something. So it's like they could save, and then I think it's dexterity off the top of my head, or might be against your spell save, I can't remember. Maybe it's charisma, I'm not too sure. It's one of them. And Circle of Death would be very difficult if you decide to like pile a body or your zombies on top of a body, bury them, and then get the zombies on top, pile on top of them, make the person prone, and then cast that on top of them as a free, or essentially a free spell, which really it is for one day. And then they'll immediately fail it, and it'll take the full damage and continually the effects of the spell. And so you could easily kill someone, because I believe, or maybe I think it's necrotic damage, so it would still affect the zombies or skeletons in this regard. Or you could use something like Cloud Kill and just absolutely demolish your demolish your enemies if you decide to go that regard. I forgot the main reason that inspired me to make this class was I saw the Necromancer video by WebTM. I'll put a link to it in the description or in the card, wherever that is. I think it's there. Yeah, and you guys can check it out if you want. If you're watching this, you've probably definitely already seen it. But yeah, so that's our Necromancer Bard, or College of Undeath. Check it out. Feel free to use it in any of your games or other kind of things. Let me know if you like it, if you used it, what you thought of it, and thanks. See you guys next time.